Out here with the wltoys 019. Just a follow-up video on my last run, Road to 100. We're almost there, 97. Yeah, it's the same body. It's a beat-up body. I use it for mocking the new chassis up, and it still works. That's what I usually test it with. It's all cracked up. That's from the accident I had the last time, which kind of obliterated the car. So, let's get into it here. I'd like to shout out to you guys. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my videos. All the media guys out there on Facebook, Speedruns, Dungeon, wltoys there. You guys are great. You guys, give out good information, helping out people. It's great. There's too many lists there, so I just want to thank you guys all. Doing a great job. Let's start off. Well, again, this is the body. I put the new fins on there. Tried a little taller one. It's that PVC foam board. Fantastic stuff. It's cheap, and I notice a lot more people are doing it now. Ever since I showed people I was making trays out of it, and I made my little aluminum one here. Of course, I could probably just make the whole thing out of the foam board, but I had this on the other one, so this is the new chassis. Alright, these are just my mock-up tires, just testing wise. As you can tell, this is what I do. Just like I said, you guys, not knocking anybody, I just have to have fun, just testing it out, and I think it's a lot of fun. I shave the wheels down. I lay them down to try it. Well, this one's a little too thin, but for the most part, I cut them down. So I got 30 millimeter in the back, and these are just under 18 millimeters, I think, or something of that nature. I try to get them around 20 millimeters. It's pretty good. I know they sell the 26 ones. Again, it works for me. People want, they put the tires on there. I just think less friction, the faster you go. It's just like drag racing. You don't see big tires on a drag race car. You see these little skinny, pizza cutters in the front. I'm not doing cornering. I'm not, flying around just making a speed run. Straight shot. So that's just my idea. It works pretty well. Like I said, I like to try to keep it around 20 millimeters. It seems like it works pretty good. This is, like I said, this is like 17, 18. I'm not exactly sure. It's alright. It works for testing purposes. It works pretty good. Obviously, do buy the contact tires. I mean, just don't bother with any other cheap ones. Those things blow apart. I think part of the accident was from those cheap tires. The car just lost control like too quickly. Those tires were some hot shot tires, or I don't know what they were, but just buy the contact foams. It's the same price. Just these things are just phenomenal. All right, so let's start off with in my last video I said I was going to put a Mama Monster X in it. I was going to. I put it in there, gave it a couple runs. For me, it's just too much power. I know there's guys out there commenting saying that they'd rather have the regular Mama Monster 2, I guess, which is fine. But this, it was just too much. It was way too much for this application that I have. It's a small car. It's a phenomenal ESC. You get the Castle B link to it and stuff. But I went back to this. I did 97 miles an hour. It definitely has a lot more in it. A lot of people comment saying, "Oh, these things don't work great for speed runs because it cuts out." Yeah, well, it does, but you just gotta kind of figure out the combination so it doesn't cut out. I do have the 4.5 turn Trinity motor in here. Gave that a run. It's pretty good. I put it on the tester. See what the kV is reading on it, and I set it just at 8,000 kV. As you can tell in my last video that I ran to 97 miles an hour, I had this bad boy in it, the Road Dog. It's a 5.0 turn. This thing only rated at like 67 maybe. 6,700 kV, I think it is. But you saw the video. That the motor was ice cold for 3S, which is amazing. And people say, the gear ratio makes the difference of what those things get cut out. It does. Again, just got to find the right combo between these two. And I found the right combo for that Red Dog. And that was a 1-to-1. I think it was a 28, 29, somewhere in that area. So those are big gears. And you saw it worked pretty good. This setup is a 25 pinion and 27 spur. Look, guys, I told you guys last video, if you just shave off a little bit off that drive shaft, it rolls perfect. It's perfectly it's a good roll. It's nice and loose. It's good for running. Made my own motor bracket. I shaved the gears down, less mass to turn. So inertia works. If there's less mass to turn, it's going to be easier on the motor. So it works for me. I'm not saying it's proven fact. I don't have the data sheets and all that stuff that everybody has. Again, this is a hobby for me. I have fun doing it, just testing it. Like I said, I've owned Armas, Traxxas, HPI, basically all of them, and they're expensive. Oh yeah. I like this because I do it on my free time. It's just a little hobby. These are cheap cars. They're fun. People bash them. Some guys bash them. Oh, you have a cheap car or this and that. You can make a cheap car work just as good as an expensive car. Just put the time into it. You're fine. Knock on wood. Like I said, I have never had really any problems with a couple things the way I done it. And I've seen people blow out drive shafts, blow out gears and all this. Knock on wood, I haven't had one issue yet the way I've done it, and it seems to work pretty well, and I've beaten the hell out of it. It's taken a lot of punishment and still ticking. So there's no data to prove it, but like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody. We're all here to have fun. A little quick tip here. Again, was the last video I think I showed you guys. Putting that bearing, there's videos for all this stuff. They're out there, just look for them. He put a bearing in it, and let me tell you, it works great for a servo. It's a tiny little servo in it. It's phenomenal. And people have been, I saw another video, which I haven't done yet, to this one. You can go with the metal turnbuckles, but for this one, I just left it with the normal stock ones. They put a little tiny O-ring in there. I tried it before. It works pretty well. For what it is, it keeps that little bit of slack out of it. The dog bones. I'm running the regular dog bones in the back. The one pieces are in the front, I guess, or whatever, the ones that are attached, the ZV joint ones. Those are the regular dog bone ones. The trick I've done so far with these things, which is pretty phenomenal, actually, it works really well. Like I said, I have never had an issue. Is if you take the battery tray foam, because it's pretty tough, it's pretty good, it's pretty stiff stuff there. Just cut a little piece off. Take the the dog bone out, and just put a little bit inside that little yoke there. And then put your dog bone back in. It gets rid of the slop that's between, that you feel in the drive shafts, or the dog bones, that little slop that slides back and forth. You don't want that when you're running high speeds. This thing's flopping all over the place. You don't need to be flopping all over the place. Again, these are cheap cars, so they're not built perfectly, but you just put a little time into it and you can make them do pretty well. I noticed a huge difference. Less vibration off the car. It works really well. You do the same thing in the front. Just take a little piece of that foam, just a little piece, just a little bit, and it keeps it bearing. I know there's guys doing videos with washers, this and that. I tried everything, and it still doesn't work great. So far, what works great so far, which I'm probably going to continue doing, is the 12 millimeter nut. The stock one everybody knows. You put the wheel on there and it tightens right down to it. You're like, oh, it doesn't work. I went with I think it's the LC Racing ones. they have that little Allen set screw there. It tightens it, put it on, you tighten it really good, put some Loctite on it, and it keeps it from going all the way down, which everybody knows that's what grabs it and slows the tire down. Like I said, putting that little foam piece in there, look, takes that slack right out. I can still push it in, very little, but it's there. It works for me. Again, not knocking anybody does whatever they want to do. I think it works great. Yeah, that thing is LC Racing. Those I think everybody sells them, but yeah, just find the one that fits the car, which is the LC Racing, I believe. Yeah, you can just tighten it right down. Look, perfect. You might have to shave the little pin that goes in there. I did notice they were a little tight, so you just shave the pin down so it sits inside that hex. That's what I did so far with that. I try to keep everything clean for the most part. I know the little wires are a little messed up, but I haven't cleaned that up. We're still in the testing round. This is the way I make my cat packs. Again, not knocking anybody that sells cat packs or what they do with the cat packs or what their design. I'm no scientist. I just looked at a lot of videos and just went with a lot of different ideas that people had. And Calcium Creation has the basis, the same idea. It's ESC, cat pack, battery. There's, I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. I know there's guys, that put the extra plug here to plug in their cat pack, which in my older videos you've seen I had one. For me, I noticed a difference. I do notice a difference. There is a difference. Not huge, but there is a difference. You can tell. Putting the cat back in line with the battery and the ESC, there is a difference. I know there's a lot of guys that are going to knock it saying, oh, I don't have the proof. You're right, I don't have the proof. I don't have it all scaled out and on a graph and on the computer. But I do notice, well, as far as driving it, I do notice a difference. It's very slight. Again, it's not a huge difference. I'm not gaining miles per hour, but there is a difference. Really easy to make. You can find the capacitors. Just buy a decent brand one, and they're a little cheap. And like I said, I'm not knocking everybody that has these or selling these capacitors, that they're the best. That maybe they could be. I don't know. I never bought one. I really don't think I need to buy one because this is such a small scale model. Definitely put fans on. Just hook up your fans. This Hobby Wing, I did change the fan. It does get warm, but I noticed that the fan that comes stock isn't as powerful as the one that if you get an aftermarket one. I think these are like Trinity ones or Energy, something like that. They work great. They're more powerful, I think, and they definitely keep it cooler. So base your mod 1 gearing platform put on there. Let's turn it around here. Yep, made my own little drive shaft loop. I think I showed you guys in the last video there. I don't know if I put it on there, but there it is. It's amazing. It works perfect. I know people sell them and whatever. That's great. I figured make my own because I had my own motor mount that I made. I just took that piece, cut it off, and mounted it right there, and it works great. It's just pretty simple stuff to do. Again, the foam board, love this stuff. This one's a little beat up, obviously, but it's so cheap to buy the sheets. Just make another one. This is that thicker one. I think it's like a 1/4 inch. It doesn't work great. Just go with the 1/8 inch. It's a lot easier to manage. Let's see what else we got here. Like I said, the settings on this thing, I set it up. It is a little different than my old one, that Road Dog one that I had in there. I got a couple other ideas I want to try in this. The weather's been kind of rough here. It's cold. Life gets busy. But here's one that I'm going to try next. I saw a couple videos and read a couple articles and stuff and try to figure these electronics out. Like I said, I'm no scientist. I'm no college graduate here. But somebody had mentioned something about grounding the motor from your negative to the motor itself, not the wires, obviously. And they're saying it helps out with a couple of things as far as heat, possibly cutting out because it's drawing so much that just the way the electrical current runs. They said it works. I saw a couple of videos. I don't have the names of the videos. I was like, like everybody else, just going through a million videos, and you don't remember which one you saw. But I do pick up little things here and there, and I want to give that a shot again. I want to see what that does. Pretty sure it makes sense to me. Obviously, anything with a ground would help it out. This is an electrical system, so. Like I said, I'm not the guru with the RC world, so I just go by living and learning here. My mistakes, I live off and learn them. This is off of Traxxas. It's the front. I just cut it, put it on there. Works great. What else did I do on this thing? Speed control, it's the same one. It's the Radio Link, which I think is phenomenal. As far as the batteries, I'm going to put in this. There's going to be a 3S. I made a parallel plug for it to run the. I know these are the 4mm. I'm not using the 4mm. I'm going to be using the 6.5s. I'll probably clean it up. I'll probably have another cat pack laying around somewhere that I made with the 6.5 plug-in, so I might redo this system where I can just plug it in and change it out if I want to. Right now it's just soldered in, hardwired basically. Yeah, I'm just going to change these out. This was just for testing purposes for my 2S that I usually run. I will change it out. I usually I made it a little adapter for the 6.5s that go on here. Wires do make a difference. That's for sure. Like, there's a lot of videos out there. The wires make a huge difference. I have the 10 gauge wires on there. They're a lot different than using the little 12 gauge. I've seen also I might be changing these out to a 10 gauge. A lot of people say the more, better wire you have to it, a little easier on the motor. Again, this is just trial and error on a lot of it. I'm hoping to get 100 miles an hour. Hopefully, I don't know if the weather breaks out. I might just go take it for a test run, but it's cold up here in New England. So, and everybody knows these foam tires don't do well in the cold weather. Like I said, I gave it a couple runs with the 2S, with this setup. Again, this is the way I do things. It's not a knock on anybody, and it's just, I know it's not scientific way of doing it, but it's just my way of testing it. I've run, I have a short road here. I run 350 feet and I see what I do. I see where I'm at. If I'm at 70 miles an hour, which I'm at, I know I'm in the right ballpark where I can get the speeds, that I want. I mean, it's not bad. 350 feet, it's 70 miles an hour. It's pretty good for a little 2S. That's just my way of testing it, So I'm there. I'm at 70 miles an hour on 2S. No issues. I think I drained the battery out completely because I have the cutoff on it, and I drained it out completely, and this thing wasn't even that hot yet. So obviously I'm on the right ballpark. I'll just keep tweaking it, going up the gear, changing the timing on it. I know, again, it cuts out, but that's what's tweaking about it. So people said that I couldn't do it, and they said you should get this ESC and you should get this motor. Yeah, it's great and dandy, but I do like trying things different, and I did it. As you can tell, there's a video, 97 miles an hour, and it could definitely go faster. I just have a downforce issue. It's a lot of downforce, and if there's a lot of downforce, obviously you're going to slow you down. But it sticks to the ground, though. I changed a couple of things around for aerodynamics. Seems like it works. These battery trays, I know they're on the bottom, or they're my new side skirts, or whatever you want to call them, which will become my new battery trays, actually. Put a little Velcro in there, and great idea. I did have these tilted, so they're pushing more downforce, so now I straighten them out so it's more level with the car. So we're going to see what that does. So far, like, again, at 70 miles an hour, it didn't lift off or anything. I am still getting a lot of downforce. The shocks, there's a bunch of videos out for this, is I put the little spacers in the shocks, rebuilt them, and I put a little bump stops rubber piece in there, so it only goes so far. They are tight in the back. It's very stiff in the back, and looser in the front, obviously. Even though I have the springs totally compressed down, I still have a little bit of issue with it hitting the ground. I don't want to lift this car off. I don't want to put the suspension up. I'm trying to keep it low, and every time I keep it low, it tags the ground. The body, it's too low. There's a lot of downforce, and that's why I had a couple issues before with just so much downforce. And if there's that much downforce, there's a lot more strain in the car. This is going to cut out a lot more because it's more strain. Hopefully these ideas help out. Hopefully we get the chance to run it. And worst case scenario, I can always throw the old motor back in it and re-gear it again. So this has got again, smaller spur gear, so it is a little different. So, but like I said, I'm going to give it a run. Hopefully this thing cracks 100. It should. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys out there with different cars and different motors and stuff and different setups, and they're cracking 100. So hopefully this gives you a couple ideas. You might want to throw into your car. You guys maybe are over 100, and that's fine. Maybe you found something here that might help you out just to get that little more out of it. These are just small ideas. I don't mind sharing with everybody. I'm not here for competition. I'm not here for not sponsored by anybody. This is a hobby to me. So I do on my spare time. It's a lot of fun. I don't have to break the bank doing any of it. I know you can go out there with the big dogs out there that have these, $1,000 cars. I like playing with the small ones. It doesn't break the bank to play around with the small cars. I know there's guys gonna be bashing, saying, "Oh, you could just went with the Traxxas Fortec." Yeah, I could have. But I bought this car for $60. So you guys do the math. If you can't figure out the math, then the Traxxas Fortec, just a rolling chassis, is $160. So you could probably find a used one, but I have not. I usually try to look my eye up for it, but I think I'm just going to stick with the wltoys. I do like them. I know they're cheap little, toys, but they're a lot of fun. I mean, if you want to go pound for pound, take a Traxxas versus this thing, yeah, maybe the Traxxas can go faster, or maybe not. But I just think this is just a cheaper idea. It's a budget friendly. Traxxas is definitely a lot more expensive. Of course, if you find a used one, have at it. But as far as pound for pound versus what this car weighs and how much you're getting it for, the math is there. You can see it. I think that's about it, really. I just want to thank everybody again. Like and subscribe. Hopefully, we'll get out there. And road to 100 continues. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Love my sign. My son made it. Fantastic. Thanks, guys.